want this. If it doesn't come, I want to know what other power do you want to give that speaker? Apart from asking, speaking, directing, demanding, and waiting.
And then if it doesn't come, they are still waiting for that to come, but the speaker comes up and says they went out of plenary, not anything else.
Now, that now comes to the rules of parliament, the procedure of parliament. They exist. That is a fact,
yes.
A matter of fact. You are absent for 15 consecutive days, there's a punishment. What I'm seeing from the speaker, they all want the House to be complete because it's a multi-party democracy.
Sure.
By the way, the absence of the opposition does not necessarily stop parliament business. But it looks
awkward,
ugly that part of you is not there. How do you get them to work? Now, the speaker is trying to say, what instruments are within my power? The instrument is the rules of procedure. But do you go, to what extent do you go with it? The rules of procedure. So she's trying to exercise now managerial authority. As a manager, what do I do? That's why you have seen the issue of saying, okay, you're boycotting. What if I also remove this? She's actually saying, if you are saying you are staying away from meat, then don't drink the soup. Don't say, I don't want meat, but I can take the soup. Or, me, I don't like meat, but I don't want soup, but I'm only eating the what? The meat. It's the same thing. So she's trying to see which instrument can I use. Because they are
I am deciding to eat the meat, not to starve. Let me eat the meat and not the soup. So you're deciding to starve me
What's the
entirely.
difference between meat and soup of meat? That's the question he's saying.
One is soup, another one is meat.
But
Okay.
you see the point? He has boiled this meat, it has put his ingredients here.
Okay.
So she's saying, if you are staying away from meat, stay away from the soup too. Okay. Because then you are boycotting, you know what? Is it protein? What is it coming from meat? You don't know what you get from meat. The nutritionists can know. So Sipka is trying to say, if you have refused the meat, then don't take the soup also.
Okay.
Be complete in your denial. But again, it creates another problem. That why are you denying me what I want? So I think she's trying to use the tools available. Because the coming back of the opposition is supposed to be, it's a political matter. That can be beyond the speaker as an individual.
Have talks failed?
That's what I'm saying.
Use talks to have them back?
No, I have attended some meetings, right from when the deputy speaker was in the chair, with the opposition. What do we do? How do we make parliament run? There's agreement. Because this is politics. There's supposed to be a negotiated settlement. But like I've said always on this show, what we lack in Uganda are individuals, either within the border politic or outside, who are able to negotiate a settlement on issues. So most times we have taken extremist positions. Because I know many people in NRM say, these are our colleagues. Because they are not enemies anyway. They are saying, these are our colleagues. We need them in the house. Many in the opposition are saying, no, but we need to go back to the house. This is our parliament. But then, politicians, they think, what will the public say? Now, there is no one trying to say, okay, this is what we can do.
So the stay out is for the public gallery.
What do you expect?
Okay.
Because you cannot now imagine just tomorrow because the speaker said no trip. We are going to the house. They will be bashed. But even when they feel that we should what? Go to the house. So I keep asking.
So do you think they're going to miss the trip?
If the speaker is overall in that, because that one's administrative.
All right.
She's the head of the institution. What she says takes effect.
Conversation for another day.
It's the speaker to say, go or not go.
So
After
Parliament
all,
is going to form other teams,
no,
parliamentary teams.
They are MPs already.
Yes,
they are
and
independent.
some of them are still opposition.
They are independent. They are independent. There's NRM.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'll be coming back to you. Peter, let me come straight to you. Is the speaker trying to put the opposition in a fix with regard to their return? Because talks seem to have failed, and now let me use what directly affects you to be able to come. And has it become a context of whether you come back or not, and we're leaving aside the issues for which the opposition walked out?
Whoever whipped the speaker into the position she's in at the moment should be popping their champagne. Because when you listen to this discussion now, it has nothing to do with the 18 that are being looked for, or are they 18?
Yes.
It has nothing to do with whether justice should be or shouldn't be meted out, whether we have an obligation as a country to find those people, whether we go back to there is a book that I always go back to, the fellow that writes about Museveni's speeches, I remember, where Museveni says, during his time, not even a singular person will be unaccounted for. So we have successfully gotten the cameras off that, and now the cameras are on the ping pong, on the speaker and the opposition.
Yeah.
If it is General Muhoozi, the former CDF, the minister, that has gotten her here, someone needs to pat him on the back. If it is a call from somewhere, they are effective, because they've put the speaker in the center of a very dirty pond, because now she is insensitive, she isn't thinking about these people, she isn't. I'll tell you, in trying to rob the thunder from Tayewa Thomas, the Right Honorable Speaker cut her mat leave. I found that odd for a woman leader in Parliament. I expected her to be lobbying for maternity leave to be increased 6 months.
It is her choice, I think.
Yes, it is, and I'm not begrudging her that. I expected her to be increasing mat leave, to be lobbying for an extension of mat leave to 6 months, to so and so. Then suddenly I see our leader return to Parliament. Those are symbolic things. Tomorrow, the girl that works with me in office will not be asking for 3 months, because I'll be saying, but the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament,
use the 2 weeks.
Because duty calls for the nation, cut short her leave. In barely 2 weeks, she was back seated serving the nation. Well, girl is amazing.
She's actually advocating for the extension of leave.
Girl is amazing. You cut yours to 2 weeks. Now, when she returned, she eminently saw a heroic return to this. It was an entry into Jerusalem Hosanna of some form, because when she returned, they were talking. The talks had arrived at a point where the MPs were practically due to return. I'm privy to the spin point that even when they had practically buckled, a few of them that are friends to Thomas Tayewa were saying, but you people, we are wrong. Thomas has been good to us. If we really needed to go back, why didn't we hand him the baton so that we return? We are going to appear as if we are endorsing Anita against Thomas. And Thomas Tayewa is your calm guy. So that debate came. At that time, what was coming to Parliament was the debate on the re-centralization of the oil industry. Yeah. And a number of MPs were asking, do you want us to be away from this very critical debate? And it was a debate amongst them. Some of them, their leaders, they were saying, we should be there. And then others were saying, what are you going to get? They were saying, no, actually you can be there and make reasonable. So the debate went back and forth. The speaker felt it was her moment. She was going to walk in and you would have the palms wave, Hosanna, they've come back, and the Savior is on the throne. Someone tinkered with it, it didn't happen. Now, she feels she's wasted her leave. You're back there, you're in the center of it. Thomas is visiting churches, he's visiting people. He's been saved of this mark. Someone owns the pond. So we are there. The speaker is in the center of a very dirty fight. One, don't think that on Tuesday, the MPs from the opposition will be walking to the House. There'd be fools in capital F-O-O-L if they walked back. Because if she presses the button, how far can she go is going to be the question.
The rules of Parliament to what? Missing 15 sittings.
Mildred,
How
we are
many
talking politics, we are not talking rules. We are talking politics. That Parliament has members of Parliament that go away for excess of 15 sessions quietly, and no one will whip them.
That one I can tell you.
They inform the Speaker?
Maybe this is politics at the core. This has nothing to do with the rules. Okay. If you're thinking rules, you are mistaken. This is politics, and it's going to play out in a negotiation table. It is not going to play out by huffing and puffing. Forget about it.
All right, Charity, and I totally agree with Peter when he says
But
now
Mildred,
the
next time you
conversation.
call us, please bring coffee as well.
Don't worry, the coffee is coming.
We can also boycott the show.
The rules of engagement here.
I am boycotting
agree
the
to
show.
that. Please do not, because the coffee is coming. Have we successfully moved away from the real issues as to why we had the opposition step out, and now it's a ping pong of what the speaker says against what the opposition actually requires?
I actually think that that is unfortunate. I agree with Peter that the focus should not shift for even a moment. Why? Because the issue the opposition is raising is an issue that is not simply political. It is an issue of the rule of law. It is an issue of justice. It is an issue of human rights. I'm a human rights defender. And Peter just told you, right now, I actually feel like the speaker thinks she's not a human being. She doesn't have flesh and blood. Because to her, she has her cars, she has her house, she has everything at her disposal. She can afford to set those who are fighting for the 18 missing lives, go packing. I mean, you mean nothing to this nation. That is how I feel.
She may be a
I
victim
feel
as
that
well.
way, and I am saying she might be a victim, but that's what I feel, and I'm sure hundreds of people feel the same way. How do the children of Chibalama feel? Before you begin to think about anything, when it is human rights, it is about the right of the person. These people have a right to be accounted for in whatever fashion. The state has a million ways it can account for these people. A million. And they could be, the explanation can suffice or it can fail to suffice. But the important thing is, can you account for them? The wife of Chibalama exists. Not only Chibalama, I have seen the others, the victims named on that list. People crying. The moment you see another human being crying, ideally, you, the other human being, should be moved. That is why we are human. That is why God put us on earth. He didn't put us here such that because we wield power, we wield it on behalf of God. We don't wield that power from somewhere. We wield it on behalf of God. So when she closes herself in her closet and in the justice of herself, is this justice? Why did the MPs move out in the first place? And secondly, is it their constitutional right under Article 29 to freely assemble, to freely associate, and to freely opine? Yes, it is. When does the Constitution, which is the grand norm, when does it rule? Does the Constitution reign over that parliament?
It does.
In my existence, it does. Okay? So what does the Constitution do? What does it provide for these MPs to do? And when you look at the rules of procedure, which they like to harp up for everybody to think about, what is the principal role of the leader of opposition? He is supposed to keep government in check. How do you keep government in check? The man has said, for 2 consecutive years, we have raised the issue. Where does he work? In parliament. Okay? He works in parliament. How do you expect him to then react? What is within his means to check government on an issue he has raised for 2 consecutive years and no accountability is coming? The only way to do it is sit with his members and decide. He's supposed to read every policy of government and give an alternative. He's supposed to look at every action of government and give an alternative. Now, this is an action of government. Government is not accounting for people that went missing. And he has been clear. He has said, even in the press conference of yesterday, the leader of opposition came out and said, no, even if it means you take all the money you want to take, the allowances, the trips, I will not come back until we have a response on why we moved out. And when Chris says it is a political issue, they are trying to impress the electorate. Of course, even the ones in parliament always want to impress the electorate. What did the speaker say? She said she's in that chair because the people asked her to be. And she says every member of parliament has a constituency they represent. Yeah. So if you have a constituency, you represent. But there are people within your party that have gone missing. They are not accounted for. How do you expect to go back to them? And you account how? How do you begin to tell them that this is what I did? That I sat along. Remember, this leader of opposition and his opposition have been accused they are opportunists, you know, and I don't care whether they're being accused on other issues, but this is a human rights issue. This is a justice issue. This is a rule of law issue. When it comes to rule of law, when it comes to justice, when it comes to the Constitution, and when it comes to humanity, issues of where God has given a right to a person, I think that this is unfortunate.
Okay. Dismas, as we take a short break, are we losing the ball in the ping pong now that is coming up on what should be given? Because the members of parliament said we were clear, the opposition, that we will be out of plenary and not any other parliamentary business. Now the speaker says even committees, even your trips and all the others.
I think that is a carrot and stick. But first of all, for me, I think we need to sympathize with the speaker. I think the speaker can't be, and Peter explained it very well, that she could cut down on her leave, maternity leave of all things, and come back to Parliament. I think there's a force that we don't understand that saw this coming. One, because the people who disappeared, they are not going to be discovered by Parliament, the people that they want to be gotten. It's not Parliament that is going to discover them or to find, like Chris explained. It's not the Parliament that will go and say they're in this safe house, the XYZ. Maybe there's something that is being hidden, and so the only person who can be able to galvanize the disappearance of those people and making sure that it gets out of public domain is the speaker to come and be able to do that. Why did the Taiba do that? To be able to do the same with people? Maybe there is a statement that is being made about what the speaker's capacities are and what others in Parliament, the governing structures of Parliament are. So for me, I think that we should first of all think that maybe the speaker is acting not on her own volition, but there's something that is pushing her to do certain things in order that that very central point that Charity is speaking about of locating those people and being to free them. We don't know whether they are still alive. We don't know whether they are still incarcerated. So what is the fear of getting those people and being paraded somewhere or produced somewhere so that this matter does not become a ping-pong game between opposition and Parliament? That to me is where the area of contention must be.
Okay, well, we'll continue with this conversation shortly. We need to take a break. Is it about returning, and then when the opposition returns, then what next at the end of the day? Please do not boycott the show. Your coffee is coming. Kibazo is bringing that right down. Let's take a very short break. We'll be right back.
Whatever sport you enjoy, Sport Action on NBS Sport has you covered. Whether you want to support the Uganda Cranes or our netball team, golf or athletics, both domestic sporting events in Uganda and international sporting events in which Ugandans compete are the subjects of our attention. What are you still holding out for? Catch all the excitement on Sport Action by tuning to NBS Sport, brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Ugandan sports.
Get it now. Get it accurate. Get it fast. Real fast. Like super fast. Super duper duper fast. No, it's not fast food or a really quick car. It's the most accurate and timely flow of news, information, updates, stories, and the stories behind the stories, and more, and a lot more. The Now Post. Get it and be the first to break the news. The Now Post. Accurate news fast. With Nextcom, you can expand the impact of your message. In an age where ambition knows no bounds, Nextcom is your unrivaled strategic communication partner. We don't just amplify your brand's voice, we create communication solutions that move the cash needle. We develop your ideas into industry-defining transformations through well-designed and executed campaigns and disruptive techniques. Why accept ordinary when you can create extraordinary? Contact us immediately and let us design a future in your brand lane. Nextcom, your communications partner.
What car do you drive? Is it a Ford? Is it a Land Rover? A Volkswagen? Is it a Honda? A Jaguar? Or maybe a Subaru? It doesn't matter what car you drive. If you use the right oil, you have the right car. Castrol, recommended by leading vehicle manufacturers worldwide. Castrol, it's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
We always tell ourselves we need to do more, relax and enjoy more. Every time you walk into Kibazo restaurant, you are reminded to do all this and a lot more. With an extensive menu meant to give you endless options, to amazing catering, spa services, and so much more. Kibazo restaurant.
Upgrade your living space with comfort and style. The end of the year sale is here at Nina Interiors, and you don't want to miss out on the amazing deals we have for you. From comfy sofas to sleek dining tables, we've got everything you need to create a space that truly reflects your unique style. Get the best quality and make huge savings this season. Visit our showrooms at House 17, Ginger Road, and Prime Roses Mall in Luboa to get the best discount for the perfect furniture for your home. Nina Interiors.
Life can change in the blink of an eye. Join us and make a difference by running for road accident victims at the Contractors Run 2023. It's happening on Sunday, 17th of December at the Kololo Independence Grounds from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Every step you take will contribute to improving emergency response services for road accident victims. Join us to give blood and share life with accident victims. Visit us at multiple locations every day from the 11th to the 17th of December between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Plus, don't forget to take advantage of the free medical checkups by the Ministry of Health. The Contractors Run is brought to you by UNAPSEC in collaboration with Uganda Blood Transfusion Services, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Works and Transport, and partners.
Promotions and Afromobile presents the Africa Angela Festival, celebrating Eritrean, Ethiopian, India, Kenya, Rwanda, Congo, South Sudanese, and Ugandan culture all together on Sunday 17th December at Jahazi Pia Munyonyo, featuring Robel Negash, Nemia Zerai from Eritrea, Spice Diana, and Dr. Jose Chameleon from Uganda. On Sunday 17th December at Jahazi Pia Munyonyo, as we celebrate African culture and African food. Entrance is 20K. Sponsored by Kendall Skills Training Center, Miranda Motel, NBS TV, Sanyuka TV, and Silverback Events.
All right, I've set my panel back. No boycott at this particular moment in time. Welcome back. You're still watching the Morning Breeze Media Roundtable. Of course, Peter Kibazo is still with me, Dismas Nkunda, together with the man from Parliament, always, Chris Obore, and Charity Ahimbisiwe, together with me.
Bukedea working in the Parliament. I'm not the man from Parliament.
But I am the
Parliament working in the Parliament.
I am the moderator of this show.
She's the owner of the power. She'll
call you.
She is the custodian of the rules here.
We have to negotiate.
All right, yeah, we can negotiate at a later stage.
We negotiate the
I want to get back to Chris on this conversation. What next for Parliament? Yes, like we said, this looks ugly. Number one, it looks ugly. We need the opposition back, that's one. But secondly, the opposition also need answers to the questions. Third, we're now throwing the stick around who is supposed to get what in Parliament at what particular point in time. How do we get an equilibrium for this conversation?
First, I address my bosses. All MPs are my bosses.
Yes, that's true.
And most of them, the leading in this thing, are my personal friends. You can find the situation I'm in. Very difficult to, you can't name names, and I'm privy to other discussions. That's the difficult part with our jobs. The first thing I have told them personally, that do not turn this as an internal part of parliament fight.
Okay.
You have moved away from your cause. You are now speaker, this one. That means you have given your priority issue a less attention now. And that's why Kibazo was saying whoever did it was smart. So I've told them. The moment you begin saying the speaker said, did the police go for her? You have conveniently set aside the focus. So if it is, how did these internal issues come? Because of the issues they raised. So they must engage the speaker more. The MPs. The speaker must engage them more. That's why I keep talking about our biggest problem as a polity. This Uganda is lack of negotiators. In many times, the issues we face are very painful. But it's at that time you see leaders rise. It's that time you see negotiators rise. To the contrary, in my observation, we have seen anger rising more than people who are able to say, how do we find a common ground? It is a serious matter that is now affecting even the way our politicians behave. Because they know, if I do this, Obore will support me. They are now working for our support than actually providing substantive solutions to the issues we are in. Not to endorse what is happening, but as a country, we must find solutions to it. Who are our elders who are not in Parliament? Because that Parliament is full of, to be honest, there are some experienced people there, very experienced, I respect them. In opposition, the Segonal, the Kivum. Kivum is a senior politician now. There are many. But the majority are still young people. Yeah, I'm older than most of my bosses. That is a fact. But even drawing from the experience, they are also still learning.
Yeah.
Not that they are weak, but it's a process. We became journalists through a process. They will become leaders through a process. Where is the process helping our leaders? That now we are confronted with this issue. This is how we are going to tackle with it. They will now be going to, there were serious people in Buganda at that time. They led Paul Kawaga Sebugori is a loss. Used to whip these politicians. So I don't know who now is in charge. At least in NRM, I know there is one whipping point. there is the general of the resistance. Yeah.
Plot one.
There is a general of the resistance. He can step up to do things for the party. I don't know who's whipping the opposition.
Okay.
Because sometimes even Matthias faces a problem. I cannot speak it here. Big problems as a leader. And I have to tell them, please, for you to be a leader, first respect your leader. As of now, Matthias is the leader of the opposition. Even if you think you are better than him, respect him so that when you become a leader of opposition, you're also respected. A leader has to accept to be led, but there are egos there. So there are difficult things. I'm going to use examples to persuade you to understand where I'm coming from. There are things I can't speak out.
Yeah,
We
sure,
face.
I understand. And
The other day we just faced a
that's
very
a
serious
requirement.
problem. We have a sick member of parliament, Honorable
Segirinya.
Segirinya.
We are doing what we can, but the family removed him from hospital. We are angry. Why? Why? They say, no. We are taking him back home. Should anything happen, you will see parliament neglected, parliament, but we can't come out and talk. So there's a lot of things that happen.
Talked. You've said
I'm sorry to have said it because it's very painful. It's very painful.
You're holding back, I can see
It's
that.
very difficult.
Yeah,
You see,
sure.
the speaker, she's saying, what do we do? But the speaker is powerless. The mother is saying, no. What do you expect the speaker to do? But tomorrow, if anything happens, that is a weapon against her.
Yeah.
You have done this. So I'm saying these are issues happen. This walkout is a legitimate thing. This is a communication to the public, that to the power that be, that we are dissatisfied with this. I have said it over and over. However, strategically speaking, you must plan it. You must plan the thing, the exit strategy, the entry strategy. I don't know how they have planned the entry
strategy
parliament.
back, yes.
But I'm seeing the war is widening. It has left the executive that is supposed to give answers. It has come to parliament.
Yeah.
Now, remember, the public should be told that the walkout of the opposition does not make laws made by parliament illegitimate.
They still make laws.
They still make laws.
The
How
numbers are still
unfortunate
there.
will it be that the NRM can now say, let us do our part,
All our laws.
our laws, and the only record that a member of parliament has to show that he or she has been working in the parliament is the Hansard for years to come. So tomorrow, there will be no record in the Hansard for all of them. I don't know. Supposing the NRM says, okay, as a strategy, let's prolong their stay out. We are not responding, they walked out, and the law, the constitution, does not render our laws illegitimate. Let's operate.
Illegal.
Illegal.
Not
Not legitimate. Yeah, does not make our laws illegal.
I
Now,
like that, Prof.
I like, it's okay.
No tinkering with the two words.
Legitimate and illegitimate. But legitimate
Illegal
is
and
subjective.
illegitimate, yes.
Yeah, legitimate is subjective. But illegal is appropriate. Yeah.
Yes.
So if it doesn't make the laws passed illegal, what then will the boycott? If
That's
it is made along, what will it serve?
Thank you.
What will it serve?
Thank you
So
very
I
much,
think
Chris.
we need people of independent thinking to make the two people speak. The absence of negotiation and consensus in our country,
Who are the two people we are talking about here?
the opposition and the NRM.
Okay.
There should
Thank
be
you.
ability to make them see things in a common way, the bare minimum.
And my
Yeah,
gut
unified
is
way.
the speaker should have been at that table as the arbiter, as the referee. Now she has been
hold
boxed
on,
in
hold
a
on. It's very
position
difficult, Peter.
where she's been
Peter,
consumed by
it's
one
very
of the
difficult
sides.
because these are parties at war. The speaker cannot assume a position
You become
of NRM.
Qatar. You become Qatar.
No. NRM is whipped in the parliament. It's
And
not the
she's
speaker
NRM.
whipping.
Yes.
NRM has a structure. There's a party. The opposition has a structure. That's why NUP is the leading political party.
And that is why Peter
so
says the
whatever
speaker
happens in
should
the
have been
NUP
the arbiter.
headquarters, the speaker is not.
No. I'm
Whatever
not
is
asking her to be
The
in
administration
Chadondo.
of parliament.
I'm not
Exactly.
asking her to be in
Yes.
Chadondo or in Kamocha. I'm asking her to be the Qatar in this.
Or
in
the
the
new
middle of,
office is
yes, in
She
the
can only
middle
do
of this.
it in parliament, not outside parliament. But these externalities affecting parliament.
So you are saying that decisions are made out of parliament,
Exactly.
but when
And
they
then
come
they
inside
affect
parliament,
business of
then
parliament.
they become the factor that makes the fighting.
Intense. That's what I'm saying.
All right, and that is why I want to bring in Peter at that point in time. How do we attain equilibrium? Because like Chris said, It's okay. The quorum is there. The laws can be passed. Parliamentary business can go on. But it looks ugly at that point in time because we're in a multi-party dispensation. We would need the voices coming in from the opposition as well. How do we attain this equilibrium now that we are getting external issues coming into Parliament, and now it seems to have moved from the real issues? It is a ping-pong of what she said, what they said.
As at now, you see, I'm going to use the Israel-Palestine circumstance. The UN got themselves in a position where they were no longer able to arbitrate between Israel and Palestine. For various statements, some of them got very emotional. And
some supported Israel for defending themselves.
Whichever way they got emotional. Qatar, even when everyone would suppose that Qatar is the Islamic global leader, because Qatar has wedged themselves in a position that is currently bigger than Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. Qatar rises to the occasion, sits America, yes, I'm talking about America, sits America to the table, sits Israel to the table, has Hamas in its closet, and tells them we can talk here. And as we speak, Qatar has deliverables. We need a Qatar in this.
In Uganda.
We need a Qatar in this. And it doesn't have to be Kamocha. It doesn't have to be... The general of the resistance is enjoying this. Let no one tell you a lie that Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is losing sleep. He's enjoying this. And he's pushing the ball to see how far they can go. Anita Among finds herself in a very ugly situation. She doesn't have a Ben Watcher in Parliament. She doesn't have an Ekule Park. She doesn't have a Wapakabulo in Parliament. She has my brother Mwanga Chivumbi. Hardball. She has Yusuf Nsivambi. He hasn't found his footing yet. Very good lawyer, lost in the circumstances. You have Nabanja, the jolly good Prime Minister. She's enjoying this. She's dancing to the music. You could play Kadodi and she would dance along in Parliament. This is not her business. You would need maybe, what's the Vice President?
Jessica Lobo.
Jessica.
Yes,
maybe
Her
Jessica
Excellency.
needs to rise to this moment. You need a quiet dealer that can talk. We need a politician that can sit with both sides and trade. And talk is also trade. Let me say this. Let no one tell you that when they talk, there won't be trades. There'll be trades. What Israel and Hamas have got is they've said, for every 50 you give us, we give you, you will give us 150. It's a trade. Looks unfair, but it's a trade. Maybe this is the time for government, whoever the dealer is, to sit them at a table and say, okay, what is your give? What is your take? Do we have such a person in Parliament? My brother Matthias Mpuga was arriving at that. His finesse is almost there. But he's leading a radical political group that has been pushed to the wall. And his power gets countered. I need to say that it comes at a very terrible timing. I know we don't want to say this. It comes at the halfway line where the party he leads is also considering, do we need Mpuga back as the LOP for the next 2.5 years? Or do we show him the boot? This walkout couldn't have come at a better time for Matthias, because suddenly it has propelled him into a colossus in Parliament to lead this group. He is the leader. He is now palpable. He is feelable in Parliament suddenly. Courtesy of Mwanga Chivumbi's maybe unplanned walkout, because I don't know whether when Mwanga Chivumbi asked the members of Parliament standing in for the law, he had a script for it. Maybe he didn't, but now it has been scripted. It is perfect.
Okay.
Can Mpuga lead this? Depends on what Kamocha thinks. Can Anita Among win it? Certainly not. She will be looking to the general of the resistance to see what comes. So we need someone in between there to do some trades, to do some talk, There will be people that will benefit from this. They will do some trade. There will be people that will talk. Will members of parliament be thrown out of parliament? Never.
Not the, that's the rules, and I mean it's politics, not the rules. Dismas, we want to attain an equilibrium where we can say our parliament is back. We have all the parties in the house discussing, because when a member of parliament is elected, they cease to only be a member of the party they belong to or the constituency from which they come, but they come to legislate for the entire nation.
So what is the question?
So the question is, how do we attain the equilibrium to have them back?
How do we get them back?
Yeah, exactly. What Peter is saying is a trade. It's a trade-off. And unfortunately, given the stands that they have taken, given that the kind of momentum now the opposition, the ones who walked out have gotten, it's, the trade-off is going to be very more difficult than if it had remained silent.
More expensive.
It is going to be more expensive because the demands are going, now it's going to be a standoff of saying, if you don't give us the following, you are not going to get we are not coming back to Parliament. But like Chris said, Parliament will continue, even when the opposition is not there. They will continue legislating. Unfortunately, they might pass some laws which are uncomfortable, that MPs cannot even be able to say, we discussed this law. And I think that whoever, according to Peter Kibazo, whoever pulled the stroke of calling the speaker and making sure that this one is given as a stick, not even a carrot, it's a master stroke. Someone has played very good games, but it takes us, even us who are debating us, it's taking us away from the point.
Yes.
Where are the people who disappeared? The people, the very reason why MPs walked out, why can't those people be produced? Or at least someone, if you want to solve this problem, Peter, if you're saying that there is a trade-off, why can't the trade-off be, let's produce these people so that we see what other excuse these MPs have?
That is what is going to happen. There will be maybe a Kanata that will be brought, a Chivarama that will be presented in court. There will be maybe 1, 2, 3, and then they will say, we don't know where. There has to be something that is given.
What if the government says, continue boycotting?
What
are we going to see?
Chris, this is politics. Government needs a certain level of legitimacy. Let me tell you, do not think that when it was set out unscripted, no one else has picked on it. I am sure there are other powers that are enjoying this and that are pushing this. Yoweri, in the midst of this, is looking for money to invest in your petroleum right now. And the only investor currently globally has been China. China, unfortunately, is a business entity. Says put your collateral here. And we don't have that collateral. The next best place to get investment for our petroleum is France. France will dangle something on your head. And someone will tell France, do not go. The other day, EACOP, they were telling us, your environment, your this, your green. Now human rights is going to be dangled on their head. We are trying to buy ourselves into selling coffee to Europe. That doesn't come free. Our trade comes with certain conditions on human rights. This is going to be a trade. Yoweri does not care about Parliament. Forget about it. But he cares about his image. Peter, he cares about the trade. He cares about the people that give him the money.
Let me take away Mildred's role for a second.
Yes.
What happened to those people who disappeared?
At the end of the day, because that's the biggest conversation.
What happened to them?
Yes.
I wish I could say. I wish I could say. I don't know. Let me tell you what happened. When Kagezi died close to where I stay in Nigeria, they arrested a number of people. One of them was a pastor. They discovered when they arrested him that poor fellow, he just called off the mast at the wrong time. But they had beaten him very badly through the interrogation. They kept him for 1 year and 4 months so that he can heal, so that he can be rehabilitated properly, so that eventually he is released. As a state, you don't want to release Kibazo without an eye. You don't want to release Kibazo with a broken nose.
If the eye has gone, it can't come back. You can't fix another.
Then I'll deal with the family, maybe. Then I'll deal with the family to quietly get out of this.
Okay. Finally, so you actually believe trade-offs is what will be able to return these members, but the issues, will they be dealt with?
That's the question.
Okay.
The state should actually, if they want an easy way out, the state should go and deal with the families.
Exactly.
Go and trade with the families.
All right, Charity, your own view of this, because it's not just the walkout, it's the issues for the walkout that were demanded for. Because, like Kibazo said, the day that Mwanga Chivumbi, representing the leader of opposition, he woke up and said, you either give us an explanation or we walk out. And he raised it that very minute in the House.
So you see, and I agree, I don't think they planned the walkout. It happened on them.
It is now scripted.
And now they have to own the walkout. They can't deny that it's no longer useful to them. But as much as my seniors have played politics with too many words, I want to come back here. And this is the way I want to come back. That one, a government has three arms. There is the judiciary, yes. There is the executive, and there is the legislature. It cannot be that the executive will always act extremely independent of the legislature in the nature of Uganda's politics. And you will read from the scholars what they assumed and what is different. I have said over and again that when you look at the model Montesquieu put out, he put out a model where he expected that each of these arms would have a place where they would have a bit of independence. But for the case of Uganda, there is no place when each of them can have a bit of independence. They do what they call a bit of checks and balances. But there is one arm which is overbearing in Uganda. And the guess for everybody is clear. The writing is clear on the wall. So Parliament, at this point, however intelligent they want to paint this, cannot come out and say, you know, now let the executive be alone to account for this. Because where else were we going to know that the 18 people have not been accounted for? How else would the opposition keep raising this issue just on radio and TV and conversations in hotel rooms?
Charity, how many times
government intervening?
How many times had Mildred discussed the 18 in the 2.5 years? And
that is why I'm saying that, you see, on TV and radio is not a place of power.
No, we are discussing it because it's on the floor.
There is a place, exactly.
And that is what she is saying, that it had to be brought to the floor.
That is the achievement.
Yes. Exactly. So when we look at these three components, therefore, orchestrating and saying these members of parliament, what they are standing for, they don't understand that they are needed in parliament, they will be kept out for good. I don't buy into that story. I think what is most important now, yes, the trade-offs should happen, if they must happen. But in whatever fashion, and looking straight into the camera, government must account for these people. When this government took power, they said they would not return us back to that time. Our preamble of the Constitution says we have ghosts that are running after us. The ghosts say, recalling our bloody history. Those ghosts are still here. They have not gone.
They are sharing our dinner.
And so if we have ghosts, we better know how to keep the ghosts at bay. Whatever the fashion, whether it's executive, whether it's legislature, whether it now comes into the justice system, let us get the 18 people accounted for. The speaker, yes, finds herself in a tricky place, but a politician should always know how to waddle the water. If she's not moving in the paddle and she can't dance in the paddle, that is her own movie. Let her enjoy it. You lay your bed, sleep in it.
Yeah, we need to take a very short break.
This is we do acknowledge that without this matter coming up in the parliament, there wouldn't have been this media attention.
Absolutely.
Yes. It is exactly the point the speaker is making. Much as we are saying we are leaving, the leverage domain for an MP is parliament. The leverage domain. You do not know how much information now the opposition has that could have gotten traction in the House. Because whether we want it or not, in law, it is functus official. You have done your part. It's like a teacher.
So is the speaker saying the opposition has done their part by raising this, it has attracted attention, so they should return?
If you're a teacher,
that's what he's saying. In a nutshell,
however good you are as a teacher,
if you're a dancer,
you teach this child.
You're not going to write an exam for them.
You're not going to write an exam. Unless we are saying, why do children fail when you are a good teacher? Go and make them pass. Unless you're telling Kibazo that, go and sit the exam. Functus official means you have done your part to that extent. And we agree that there is separation of powers. One of my bosses is calling me, doesn't know I'm on the show. There's separation on what?
Maybe you've said something they don't want to hear.
No. I don't suffer that. I'm given the liberty to do my work.
I hope your job is safe.
That I can say, I thank Parliament. Gives me the liberty to do my job.
Take a break, yes.
So what I'm saying is, they have done their part. If we say the separation of power, checks and balances, checking means each one has got their power and their zone of operation. That's why I began by saying, however much we think the judiciary is weak, we cannot go and become judges. We have to wait for their judgments and process them. The judiciary cannot say, we are not going to sit. It's like the media.
So we are not going to become the executive to account.
The media has been tortured many times. That's why a blackout has never worked. People will tell you, if you black out, then whom are you blacking out? You're blacking out the innocent people. So that's why journalists bear the brunt of being tortured. In this case, we are saying, it is true, the opposition have not got the answers they want. Is it the Parliament provide the answers?
But
no,
Chris, just raising the matter.
Chris, they've raised the matter.
Exactly.
The only challenge we have here is the chief executive at Parliament wants to take it on herself. Actually, she's taking the ball in her court.
Exactly.
She shouldn't.
She should be asking the people.
The executive
exactly.
For the executive to
and they are using
answers.
their space.
The speaker, unfortunately, is providing herself as the shield in between.
This is how it works, Kibazo. The resolutions of Parliament are made in the House.
Absolutely.
By not being around, they are actually not helping the speaker to make the case.
Is that why she has to become the shield by gambling
the case has to be made in the House. Issues have to arise in the House. Resolutions have to be made in the House.
For 2 years, for 2 years, resolutions could not be made in the House.
Charity, functus official, there is what Parliament can do to an extent. Let's agree.
All right.
Do we agree?
In my church, there is that prayer for which we say, the contrition prayer, for things we've done and not done.
Yes.
Some things you don't have to do for them to have impact. By the opposition being not there and not saying, they are actually
doing
very
palpable. They are doing a lot.
By the time the speaker also comes and becomes part of this whole process and expresses herself on it means there is something that is happening.
Exactly. We need to be taking a break. There is much. We'll be returning with much more after this.
There is much.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stephen Asimwe. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda. On the 6th of December, Wednesday evening at the Kampala Serena Hotel, the PSFU is pleased to host the biggest and most powerful business calendar event, which is their Private Sector Gala. Starting at 4 p.m., we shall be at the Victoria Hall. And we'd like you to come and meet the best business people, come and network, come and have fun, but most importantly, prepare to do better business in 2024. At the gala dinner, we shall be giving awards and recognizing the best personalities from micro, small, medium, and large companies. Please be there because it's a day to network and be able to get better business come 2024. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Friends, you may not believe this, but Uganda is actually running out of trees. So we have a campaign. We've partnered with several leading corporates to plant more trees. Our ambition is to plant 40 million trees in the next 5 years. We've done quite a lot of that. Stanbic alone in the last year planted 70,000 trees. And when we do plant these trees, we're not just planting, we are growing the trees. And we're very deliberate about how we're doing this.
At Uganda Breweries, we have a vision called Society 2030. Our dream is that every Ugandan would plant a tree and maintain it by the year 2030.
Stanbic coming on board as cutting across, and through Stanbic we've had a number of other players actually coming through because of our engagement with Stanbic. They've committed budgets to do actual planting, because the Roots campaign is designed in a way that the partners are at liberty to decide which way they do their participation.
We believe in Uganda.
Hotel Africana, Namunana December, Musoi Yomaka Jatumie, Ebiserebio! Shinga mtwale bili tepe mtwale tano emezi ya milioni 3 na mwenda December mkono Colin Hotel 10 December Masaka Maria Flow 15 December Luka ya Nana Gardens 10 December Liantonda Mutisawa 17 December Mbarara University Inn Mwana Mulezi King Saha haina dobozi lipanga masanyaraze Kare Musareko Hotel Africana Gamunana December Muganda Kombucha Drink Junction Mall Good Base Entertainment
Eurofarm NBS
Hold on Ebitegechewa Yes Sinke Events.
MTN presents Tugene Muchika Day, the Father-Mother edition, along with the biggest extravaganza of old music made of Uganda, on 2nd December 2023 at Kampala Serena Hotel, featuring Mariam Dagiri, Sophie Nantogo, Ngoni, Theo Benasolo, Queen Florence, Cute Kaye, Gerald Chuewa, alongside Janzi Band. Enters as 100K ordinary, 150K father and mother ticket, 300K gold, and 3 million free platinum table. Or dial *165 *98#. Pay 80K using MTN mobile money. Remember, it's only applicable to ordinary tickets. Come with your mama, tata, and family. For reservations, call 0774 982 040. Dress code Chikade. Sponsored by MTN.
In this family, we can't agree on anything. Martha. We can't even agree on what to watch. All the games to play. Martha. Ndoza Mulabi, we can't even agree on what to eat. At least the one thing for now we can all agree on is the soap to use. He likes that it's big and lasts long. Anti-economy. I like that it keeps my skin smooth. Ate Alina Echovu. And the children like that. It smells amazing. Everyone is happy. Movit soap comes in 4 fantastic flavors. Movit family soap is truly soap for the whole family.
Movit. All day confidence.
Are you searching for a perfect team to cover your event? Search no more. X Events is the answer. We are professionals in photography and videography for all kinds of events, ranging from weddings, introductions, giveaways. We are located at Access Building, Rubaga Road, opposite Hotel Sujavalo. For more information, please visit our Facebook page on X Events and XCY Events 256 on Instagram. X Events, capturing your precious moments.
Everyday Utalo. Yamuda December. Yana Yugumya Kabana Lonji. Munalongo Exitur. Waneka Senge. Okidira Mutwaro Gumu. JP. Emitwale Biri. Kugambia Yewera. Okube Nyimba Zona. Empane Kade. Orangela Kakase.
Mbaita mwenapte babalimba limba abayimbi fena fena jetuli.
Chuakidwa.
Yagugu wadambola nangu.
Sanyuka, Feba no dala.
Right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back from that short commercial break. And of course, this will be our last segment of the Media Roundtable. But my panel is still full. There's been no walkout. There's been no boycott at all. The coffee is here, courtesy of Kibazo. Charity IMBC, where Chris Obore, Peter Kibazo, and Dismas Nkonda. Yeah.
And conversation and bullying.
Yeah, and bullying at the same time. As we get to this, and as it has been highlighted, this conversation is coming at a very critical time. That is halftime, if we would say so, for the soccer lovers. Halftime of Parliament, where you expect a reshuffle. If it were FDC in the leader of opposition, at this time you would be thinking that there's going to be a change, because the party had adopted the whole idea of serve 2.5 years, let another person come and be able to serve, except I think it was Ogengala Tigo, after which they went into an election, and that is how they dealt away with the election and said, let's have the party leadership decide who goes into next. I would like to look at the performance of, for example, the leader of opposition, because that's where we would expect a bit of change. How would you rate that performance and what lies ahead amidst this reshuffle? Let me start with you, Dismas.
Why not Obore, who sits with them?
No. I am the custodian of the rules.
She's the custodian here.
I think part of it we had already discussed.
Yeah.
The leader of opposition, I think particularly this ask, the current ask that is on stake, has put him in a very, very interesting limelight that may force the hands of Noop to allow him to continue for the next, I think, 2.5 years.
Yes.
So I think Matthias Mpuga has, even as a politician on his own volition, I think he has done very well. And I don't think that it's anything that we want to take away from him.
Okay. What do you think of your boss? As a journalist in this case, not as boss relationship. But I'm looking at the performance of the office of the leader of opposition, because it's not only Matthias Mpuga, it is an office.
That office, I must tell you, Matthias, if he's not the leader of opposition now, we'll be again on this show discussing that if it was Matthias.
Okay.
Yes.
Say that again.
We'll be saying, if it was Matthias.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Will be, how do you call it? Reminiscing. Will be nostalgic.
Even reminiscing.
Will be reminiscing. Because he possesses certain personality attributes. You know, in leadership, the character of a person also infects the governance environment.
Yeah.
Matthias is naturally a polished person. Matthias is never personal. He's not petty. Not just because he's in the parliament. I used to host him on television and on radio. You can take on Matthias, but he will remain on an issue.
He will remain on the issues.
He's not the type who will
get angry
and begin. Even you stole the other day. Never.
Even the expression of his anger is always
always eyes on the ball. That is Matthias. Two,
let's wait and see
other than
what
being a leader of opposition, he's also a leader in parliament. Because the leader of opposition is part of the administration of parliament by law. He's a member of the commission. You do not find Matthias a meddle in anything about governance. So in terms of institutional building, that's the guy you need. Because building and leadership is part of building the institution. You, the politicians, choose what you want, but create the institutions. He's an expert there. Create the institutions. Matthias is perfect for institutional leadership. Structuralization. That one is him. So, if you asked me, how do I rate his performance in terms of those areas, I give Matthias an A. But there is the politics of it. And that politics is an externality to me. That is now how Noop sees him. Because being a leader of opposition, if it is for the performance in the parliament alone, me, I would say, I don't know why one would change Matthias. But you know, they have been talking, of course we give a budget. to that office. We also give, you know what is, power comes with. We give you a bit of police people, you know. We give you this kind of thing.
It's not you who
there
gives.
may be the institution of parliament.
The institution.
Okay, sorry for using that.
Thank you, thank
Sorry
you.
for using
Chris is
that.
speaking as part of the institution.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I get
supposed to
it.
speak on behalf.
I get it. Yeah.
I think he forgets sometimes that he's a director of communication. And he thinks that he's still in a newsroom.
So the institution of parliament,
Yeah.
by law, provides
Exactly.
for that.
I like that. By law.
By law, provides
Yes, the standard.
the standard. And that's why when somebody says he has been compromised, I laugh at Ugandans.
And Chris,
by law.
Chris, let me interject. You see, as we are talking about boycott, the law that provides for the benefits for the office of the leader of opposition was created in parliament during a boycott, when the opposition had walked out of parliament. And Ben Wacha decided singly that he would not boycott. He went back into the house, and as the data law was being amended, he managed to infuse the law with the office of the leader of opposition and said, this shall not be now the prerogative of the presiding officer of parliament. It shall be an institutionalized office. So in the midst of that boycott, Ben Wacha managed to institutionalize the office of the law.
So what,
Thank you so much.
in this boycott, what do you want to do?
I don't want to see Jimmy Akena do that. Okay. I don't want to see Jimmy Akena do that.
Okay, so Mildred,
I've given you my cup.
thank you for that interjection.
Conclude, Chris.
And now that interjection tells you.
No, Chris, please go on. Don't go to the interjection.
Why the speaker says, please come here. There's something you'll impact. So if you can now see why the speaker is saying, come and reason together. Anything can happen.
Please buy me coffee.
So
buy me coffee. I'm doing your job.
Thank you so much for doing my
You
job.
gave him ammunition.
Now, what I'm saying, if it is that assessment, because of that, what the parliament gives that office, it could influence how other people look at Matthias.
Yeah.
Why him? That's the fact.
Okay.
There is the overall, there is the personal. And most times we are good at covering the personal in the overall. But if it is performance, Honorable Matthias Mpuga, as a person, he's a good man.
Okay.
As a leader, he's a good leader. But in the politics of Noob, I don't know.
All right.
And the prerogative is with Noob.
National Unity Platform.
But according to
Charity.
NRM, he's a bad man.
I don't know. I'm assessing him as my
Charity,
leader.
what is your own assessment of the performance of the Office of the Leader of Opposition half-term? Because that is where you would expect whether there would be a change or not.
You know, Mpuga put out an alternative policy paper, and it was launched, and it's a very good policy paper, a good alternative. I've not seen, not even Ogengala Tigo, putting out an alternative paper to that quality. Then Mpuga, as much as he's been gossiped about as the mole, they say he's in bed with government and he's not as radical as the rest of the opposition members. And right now, what opposition is looking for is radicalism. They're looking for, they say they want to rule by, I forget how they call it, like how you'd see a rebellion. Like how you'd say a rebellion, make a defiance. Exactly. By defiance, like, you know, show them that they are hopeless and everything defy. He's not the kind of person. He defies diplomatically because he's schooled. And for me, he espouses everything.
I am blocking you. I am blocking you.
On the firing table, Mpuga is fired for those things you're saying.
He espouses. For me, you see,
I wanted to block Peter from.
You know, Peter is already poking me, my senior. So the whole idea is not always just to object, but how are you objecting? Sometimes you will say what you're not saying by being diplomatic. Mpuga has ways he has been having conversations with the speaker and the deputy speaker. Look at how he handled the Honorable Nabanja, the prime minister, when they were having an argument about Chibalama, and saying, you know where she is. See that the PM, the prime minister, came say she burst out on the floor of Parliament. The Speaker tried to restrain her and said, no, in this Parliament we have rules, we have procedures, you have to hold on. She continued, and she went off and off and off, and there was no diplomacy, and she lost it all.
Don't
and
I like her? Don't I like her?
Of course, that is what the opposition is looking for, people who can be like that. But when we talk about decorum, and when we talk about these issues, we just don't talk about them for the sake of. We have decorum for a reason. We have these institutions for a reason. When we talk about strengthening them, who has the decorum? Mpuga does have the decorum. Okay. He was able to stand there. He was able to make his point, even when he was being rabble-roused. He continued to say, you can now see for yourself the Prime Minister and how she reacts when an issue is put before her.
All right, Peter, you have the last chance at your assessment of the leader of opposition office, half-term.
Mildred, I have a very uncomfortable position.
Please go ahead. It is your position.
They are my friends.
It is your
Mpuga,
position.
I'm very subjective in this, but I'll take you to a story away from here. When Yasser Arafat and then Israeli Prime Minister, I'm trying to remember the name, agreed to go and sit at Camp David.
That is Isaac Rabin, no?
Was it Rabin? When they sat at Camp David, they practically agreed on a two-state solution. Practically. Lots of things were finished. Everyone in the world, actually they shared a Nobel laureate at the time.
Yes.
Do you know what was birthed after? That's how we got the radical Hamas. That's how we got the ones in Lebanon. What are they called? Hezbollah. They were a response to, quote unquote, the betrayal of Yasser Arafat. He had betrayed Palestine. Listening to this table, you paint Matthias Mpuga in the picture of Yasser Arafat at the time of Camp David.
So who has he betrayed?
And in that case, you actually whip Hezbollah and Hamas against
him,
Mpuga.
So there's Hamas in Inub.
No, read my words, read my lips, read my lips.
But
that's what you are saying. That's what you are saying.
How much did Hamas and Hezbollah finally achieve? When Arafat died, you know then what happened after that. Continue the story.
Charity.
Continue the story on his
Charity.
He's telling his story, not why do you want him to tell it under your angle? Peter, you have the floor. Chris, order in the house.
When he died.
Order in the house.
Okay.
I give Peter the chance
I'll
again.
rest that analogy there. And believe you me, when we meet again at some point, you'll be able to draw the curtains and see Hamas and Hezbollah because you've taken the PLO to Camp David. Now, about Mpuga the man, when FOC was created during Walk to Work,
Activists for Change, for the many
there
young
was
journalists.
a discussion by Dr. Kiza Besigye and his war cabinet on how to lead Walk to Work. They were looking for a face that wouldn't be on the street with them, that would be able to put on a suit and say the things they want without backing down. They zeroed on Miriam Atembe. Dr. Kiza Besigye told them Miriam Atembe was likely to jump ship midway when the fire is turned on. I don't know whether he was right. They looked at John Kazora. John Kazora didn't want the middle of the fire. Then Erias Lukwago and Mwanga Chivumbi said they had Matthias Mpuga. And the whole group bought in straight. When Kiza Besigye and team were on the streets, the face of Walk to Work was Matthias Mpuga. He exuded decorum, finesse, articulation, all those things, but he was never in the trenches. South Sudan, I'll take you now to South Sudan. South Sudan, when Garang and his team were in the trenches, they needed someone in France that could speak for them. They had a young man called Malong.
Yeah.
He spoke French, he spoke Arabic, he spoke English, and one of the Eastern languages. He was polished. So he would speak for them in all those forums and everyone would nod. His death point was when the West started saying, but isn't this gentleman better than the riffraff
of Garang,
of Salva Kiir, of Riek Machar? Shouldn't this one be the leader of the cause?
He was dropped.
The Hamas of South Sudan.
I see where you're leading now.
Out. I don't know about Matthias.
No, but for us, what you have
No,
to
you
say.
have wrapped it up.
My boss.
No. I haven't said anything more than what I have
He only used
said.
those as
I haven't said anything more than
He
what
only
I've
used
said.
those as examples.
No, you can say what you're not saying. And Peter, from here, I heard you loud and clear.
The interpretation is very clear.
Yes.
Hezbollah and Hamas, you can do whatever you want to do, Honorable Mpuga. It doesn't do with the fact that he's a fine
Exactly.
man. He's a gentleman.
Okay.
He's sober.
Yes.
Systemic.
Yes. Hamas
But
can
at
do
this point in
anything.
time-
But after the death
Mildred,
of
Arafat,
That show
what
has
happened?
ended.
What happened to Hezbollah and those people?
Here it is. The show has ended. I think Peter has made a very stern communication. He's spoken like
he made a point.
He has spoken parabolically like Jesus used to, and we leave it to that. Yes.
I know. He's one of our officers in Parliament.
I know Saddam.
Works
Yes.
for him.
Yes.
He's the first leader to tell Saddam, do my work. Anything that requires my work and Parliament, whatever you do, must be sanctioned by grace of God. Never happens. You know, most politicians believe they have their own way. The guy likes structures.
Yeah.
Saddam cannot do anything. Anything difficult is already on me.
Saddam, the former
but are
journalist.
conformists in the right place.
But what do we need
when
as a
we are in
country?
the heart of the struggle?
What do we need as a country?
Are conformists in
People
the right
power
place
question.
when we are in
What
the heart of the
has,
struggle?
what has Hamas done to
He's supposed to be
Gaza?
At
extreme.
this point in time,
Hezbollah.
He's
at this
supposed to
point
be
in time, we're
extreme.
going to end the show.
I think we
But
need to
as we end
change.
the show-
Maybe we need a malema.
Maybe
we need a malema.
No.
Okay,
Hezbollah.
What, just
Our
1 minute.
power.
Just 1 minute to dismiss. You were saying
We don't
something.
want the Gaza Strip
No,
destroyed.
exactly. What the allegory that he's using of Hamas and so is it noob Hamas?
No, I haven't said that.
And it's no
Anyway,
Hezbollah.
as we go, let me close. I have closed the conversation, and as the
very nice.
custodian of the rules, I have closed this conversation on the law.
And custodians
close
put
the
on yellow.
conversation on.
Aren't you
They
excited?
put
She has yellow.
Yellow and red.
Three colors. Of all the three colors, you only sing one color, yellow. We know where your eyes are. But gentlemen and ladies,
black,
as we
yellow,
go, I want to believe that all of you have listened to, liked, or paid attention to a UB40 song. The first person to nod was Dismas. Which one is your best of them?
Sherio, baby.
I don't know if I remember any.
You don't remember any? Chris,
So
Obade,
also
you only
that
listen
one.
to. You only listen
So
to.
I also know that one.
No, they
Serio,
have a lot of songs, by the way.
You listen to Red Wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, red wine, I know it.
Exactly.
Do you have tickets? Just take me there. Do you have
By the
tickets?
way,
You want to go to UB40?
Yes, I do.
And the beautiful
where is,
part is.
where is King?
Yes.
That gentleman is doing something in the terrain.
Okay.
NBS is very big force.
Kwanza, wait. She has tickets to
give
UB40.
tickets for us.
Mildred is my
I have opened
Mildred,
a
can
can
I
of
have
worms.
mine?
I've opened a
I
can of
will be
worms.
with her this evening.
Yeah,
The
sure.
last time UB40 were in Kampala, they were saying they were signing out. I didn't have the
Enough time.
green paper to be able to make it there.
I made it actually.
Okay. As a journalist,
what's your memory?
No, as my
What's your memory
okay.
of the last time UB40 was here? Because they're coming back again on the 21st of December.
Wow.
So we're just counting down. What's your memory then when you went?
It was a very good show. When they played that song of mine, Sherio, Sherio.
How were you?
I was shaking.
No,
So
what I remember is they had among the best
But you see
sound.
the beautiful thing is...
UB40 and Aswad had top quality sound in this city. Mildred
and the arrangement the arrangement for that particular show at the Oval Ground was very good.
Yeah, but the beauty is if you buy your tickets in November, if you buy your tickets before November ends here, instead of paying 100,000, you'll pay 75. All right?
Now, why doesn't NBS buy us a table of 5 million?
You know?
The people who are always on the round table.
A table of 5 million only has 8 people. And by the way, the interesting thing, if you buy a table of 5 million, we are talking about climate